Colorado is the second game on our list today. They are a 3.5-point favorite on the road at Texas Tech in Lubbock. It's going to be a heck of a game. Damien, you like Colorado to make the playoff. This game will be the toughest test that they have the rest of the season. Why do you like them to win this one out in Lubbock?
Well, I'm going to paint a big picture here. I'm going to paint the whole picture of them getting to the playoffs because I do think they take care of this game, but I want to paint the picture because I know people are looking at me like I got two heads right now saying that Colorado's going to get in the playoffs. I'm going to break it down for you. All that has to happen, Colorado wins out. Kansas State beats Iowa State because Kansas State is holding on to the hope that BYU is going to slip up somewhere and they can sneak themselves back into the Big 12 championship. If Iowa State loses and Colorado gets in the Big 12 championship, no matter who they play, I see them winning. I see them beating BYU. I see them beating Kansas State. I just see them winning because when you look at their team, they are so much more improved than what people are giving them credit for. You look at the offensive side of the ball, you look at the defensive side of the ball. Defensively, last year they were giving up almost 35 points a game last year. This year, 22 points per game. Offensively, Shedeur Sanders was getting sacked almost 5 times a game last year. Right now, he's on pace to be getting sacked 3 times a game. We've still had a lot of conversation about, is their offensive line getting better? Are they not? Well, I think the proof shows that they are. And I'll even go as far as saying when Shedeur called his offensive lineman out early in the season when they had lost, I felt like they took it personally because they have played so much better. They've started to have guys emerge in the running game. They've had guys putting up 100-plus yard rushing performances. This Colorado team, we are not watching them improve the way that we should be. We are not mentioning them and respecting them the way that we should. Shedeur Sanders has proved that he might be the number 1 pick in the draft this year. Travis Hunter has proved that he very well could be the number 1 pick in the draft. So when you look at their weapons and what they have, when you look at how they're steadily improving week after week after week, everybody had thrown the towel in on Colorado at the beginning of the season, and then look at what they're doing now. Nobody in week 3 or week 4 would have even thought they had a shot to get in the playoffs. Zero chance whatsoever. We were talking on the pod about, are they going to be bowl eligible? And now they have all they need is, obviously, they got to win out, and they've got to take care of their business. But Iowa State to lose, if Kansas State and Iowa State played right now, I would pick Kansas State to win that game. I think they're the better team, propelling Colorado.
Even though you hate Kansas State.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you put Colorado in that Big 12 championship. My belief, regardless of who they play, from what I've seen in Shedeur and Travis and these other receivers, what I've seen in the improvement on the offensive line, what I've seen in the improvement on defense, they have the capability to beat anybody in the Big 12 from this point on, moving on the rest of the season. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
What a weird year. Yeah, what a weird year for Colorado. They've got to be the first team in college football history. Dude, they're probably going to at least double their win total and have half the viewers that they did a year ago. I think the Colorado supernova that we haven't really seen build. I mean, I think Nebraska's probably the reason for that. I think a lot of people wrote them off after this game. And they haven't played, they're not going up against Caleb Williams or an Oregon team. And that's, the weakness at the top of the Big 12 is probably a big reason for why they haven't had a lot of spots. But I'm really curious how Colorado responds as this has become kind of a talking point. A lot more people are paying attention when that road opened up for them, because I don't really buy that, the spotlight was too big for Colorado last year, and that was the reason why they fell off. They just weren't a very good team, weren't a very complete team. They beat some teams that were pretty fraudulent. I mean, TCU was in the top 20 when they played them. Nebraska finished last year, 5-7, 4-8. They didn't beat a single bowl-eligible team. Colorado State was not good, and they still took them to the wire. So they were a pretty soft 3-0. And if you look back at Colorado's season last year, they look like basically a 4-8 team, and they had a team that would go 4-8 against that schedule a lot. This year has been pretty interesting, and they haven't had. So now that you have real stakes, you're playing games that aren't just about proving yourself and proving that all the Colorado haters are wrong. It's like you got real stuff on the table.
You got stuff to play for now.
And I'm very curious how you do that and how Deion keeps his guys focused in the middle of that.
Do you remember that 2016 USC team, the one that Damien beat in AT&T Stadium to open up the season?
Beat the brakes off of.
Yeah, remember that USC team? They start 1-3. And then they won the rest of their games the rest of the season, and before you knew it, they were in the Rose Bowl and beat Penn State. teams can get better as the season goes on, like to a pretty high level. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing there. I'm most interested here in Tahj Brooks, the running back at Texas Tech, who's probably the most underrated running back in the country.
Yeah.
He's fifth in the country right now in rushing yards. He has had 100 yards in all 8 games this season that he has played. He didn't play against Washington State, game they lost. If he plays, it could be a different game. But here's a crazy stat I found from him looking back. He has had 19 straight games with at least 95 yards. Like, he's always showing up in all of these games.
Rushing or offense?
Rushing yards. 95
That's
rushing
crazy.
yards.
That's crazy.
He's always delivering. He's not having booms and busts and stuff like that.
I was going to say, a part of that, in my opinion, to your point, Chris, is the fact that he gets a lot of carries. And I'm mentioning that in a good breath because throughout that, like, he's got more carries than Ashton Genty this season. Like, he's been getting the ball a shit ton, but Tahj Brooks has shown that he can be that old school bell cow. Like, we can give it to you 20, 30 times, and he just keeps getting better game or play after play, quarter after quarter. And that's why I'm sure he's got 19 straight games, almost 100 yards.
And it's not like he's getting like 3 yards per carry with a lot of carries. He's getting 4, 5, 6 yards a carry pretty much every game. So Colorado's run defense is better. It's definitely improved, but this is going to be one of the biggest tests they've had with that. And yeah, expect a lot of points because the problem with Texas Tech is that they can't stop anybody. That has been their issue. Over under 62.5 from BetMGM. That's going to be a lot of points there in Lubbock.
Damien, I wanted to ask you. The Deion Saban relationship is very,
You talking about all the
interesting
Geico
to me.
Commercials?
Yeah, I don't know how much they actually correspond. I think it's hilarious considering how obsessed with recruiting Saban is and how like perfect their operation is and how Colorado does not do that. But the hallmark of Saban's programs were handling success. And when the lights got bright, the team got brighter and winning games and winning big games. Well, the next week they're still the same team. If you were Nick Saban, and I'm sure you've heard him talk about handling success a lot. If Deion called him this afternoon, what does that advice from Nick Saban sound like?
What's the message? I'd probably go back to the speech he used to give about the power of nothing. It goes a little something like this. It's been a while, but he used to say, when you wake up, the world owes you nothing. If you show up and you don't work hard, what does that get you? Absolutely nothing. If you listen to all the expectation and all the hype and you buy into the rat poison and you don't go out there and produce, what does that get you? Absolutely nothing. So in turn, the lesson is nothing is guaranteed to you. Everything that you want, everything that Colorado has set themselves up, the opportunity, the position that they've put themselves in, like from this point on, they're not guaranteed nothing. Nobody owes them nothing. So everything that they're going to earn is going to be through their hard work, through their preparation, Monday through, what I say, JWMF, just win Monday through Friday. How you prepare when you focus on the journey and not the destination. Not, okay, well, we've got a spot, we've got a chance to get to the playoffs. Like, how do we get there? No, it's how do we beat Texas Tech? Then how do we go 1-0 the next week? And how do we go 1-0 the next week? Because nothing is promised to us after this moment. If I had to guess, it would be something along those lines.